Hello guys, let's talk about the world's largest stock market, US stock market. The total market capitalization of US stock market is more than 50 trillion US dollar. When we talk about US stock market, we broadly talk about two stock exchanges. One NYSE, which is New York Stock Exchange. The other one is NASDAQ. Okay, so we'll go in details, but before that we need to understand what is the difference or how it behaves. So when we compare with US stock market with India stock market, we need to understand there are some points how Indian stock market works and how US stock market works. So first we will see what is the difference between Indian stock markets and US stock markets, and then we will move to how many stock exchanges there are in US stock markets, how they works, and then we will see what are the indices in US stock markets and how they calculate. Okay, so let's first talk about what is the difference between Indian stock market and US stock market. So the first point of difference of Indian stock market and US stock markets is when you talk about the major stock exchanges. In India, there are two major stock exchanges are there. One is BSE, which is Bombay Stock Exchange. Another is NSE, which is National Stock Exchange. Okay, but if you see in USA, there are two major stock exchanges. One is NYSE, which is New York Stock Exchange, and another is NASDAQ. Okay, there are two major stock exchanges there in US. So next point, so when we talk about the timing, when the stock exchange starts and when the stock exchange ends, in India, our both stock exchange, NSE and BSE, we start at 9:15 a.m. in the morning till 3:30 p.m. in afternoon. But in US, all the stock exchanges or the US stock market, you can say, the starts at 9:30 a.m. in the morning and it ends with 4 p.m. in the afternoon. Okay. Now coming to your major indices. So in India, as I told you, right? So there are two major stock exchanges. One is BSE, one is NSE. Now there are two major indices also, Sensex and Nifty. So Sensex is from BSE and Nifty is from NSE. But in USA, we have three major indices. One is NASDAQ, one is S&P 500, and another is Dow Jones. I'm going to discuss these three indices later, but let's quickly see the difference first. Okay. Now coming to the circuit filter or market-wise circuit breaker. When you talk about India, right, one is when you talk about India, right, so the circuit filter is 10%, 15%, and 20%. What that means is, if market crashes by 10%, then there is a halt. Then if crashes by 15%, there is another halt. But if market crashes by 20%, then the whole market trading will be stopped for the entire day. Okay. But when you talk about US, okay, so the circuit filter is 7%, 13%, and 20%. It means that in the first 7, if market crashes by 7%, there is a halt, 13% another halt, and if it crashes by 20%, the entire stock market will stop for the entire day. Okay. Now coming to your fractional shares. Okay. In India, if you want to buy 1/10 of, let's say, MRF share, you can't, right? You have to buy at least one stock or one share of MRF. But in US, you can invest in a fractional shares. You can buy 1/10 of Apple. Okay, Apple share. So these are the major difference in India stock market and US stock market. Now coming to the US stock market, let's get into in the details. As I told you earlier, there are two major stock exchanges are there, which is NYSE and NASDAQ. Okay, and these these two stock exchanges host the entire US stock market. Now coming to the NYSE or New York Stock Exchange, which is one of the world's oldest stock exchange, because it started in 1792. Okay, there was a Buttonwood agreement was happened under a Buttonwood tree in Wall Street of New York. Okay, from that day it started, and this Buttonwood agreement was basically a securities trading was happened between 24 stockholder in the Wall Street, and now this has been turned into the biggest stock exchange in the world, which is New York Stock Exchange in terms of market capitalization. So let's have some major points in New York Stock Exchange. So it is one of the oldest stock exchange in the world. It has started from 1792. The largest stock exchange in the world by market capital, and its market capitalization is 27.69 trillion US dollar. The number of companies listed in NYSE is 2,800. In fact, more than that. So it's more than 2,800 now, and it has a trading floor even today in New York Stock Exchange. Okay, like in India, there is no such physical trading floor exists today in any of the things. Even if you see in the NASDAQ stock exchange also, there is no physical trading floor, but in New York Stock Exchange there is a physical trading floor still exists. So these are the major points in New York Stock Exchange. Now coming to your NASDAQ stock exchange, what are the major points? Number one, I can tell you it has founded in 1971, and it is the world's first and largest electronically traded stock market. Okay, NASDAQ. And the third point is, it has a market capitalization of 24.56 trillion. Okay, and the number of companies listed in NASDAQ is 3,700. All right. Now, if you see quickly the difference or the major points between NYSE and NASDAQ is like NYSE started 1792, which is the world's one of the oldest stock exchanges, whereas NASDAQ started on 1971. The market cap of NYSE is more than NASDAQ. Okay, and number of listing companies is 2,800 in NYSE, and number of listing companies 3,700 in NASDAQ. All right. So now coming to the type of companies which is listed in NYSE and what type of companies listed in NASDAQ. In NYSE, mostly the blue chip and industrial companies are listed, where in NASDAQ the technology based companies are listed. Okay, let's have a look that what are the companies has been listed in NYSE and what are the companies has been listed in NASDAQ. So if you see NYSE or New York Stock Exchange, the blue chip companies like Berkshire Hathaway, Alibaba Group, JP Morgan Chase, Visa, Johnson & Johnson, okay, United Health Group, Home Depot, Bank of America, Walmart, Procter & Gamble, the Walt Disney Company, Morgan Stanley, Coca-Cola, and Accenture. All right. Now coming to NASDAQ, if you see all the technology big companies are there like Apple, Microsoft, Alphabet, which is Google, Meta Platforms, which is Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, Intel, Comcast, Tesla, all right, PepsiCo. So these are the big technology companies are there in NASDAQ. Now coming to the BSE, NSE companies. Okay, so if you notice here, there is an amazing piece of difference is there. So the companies which are listed in NYSE, these companies are not listed in NASDAQ. They are different. But if you see the BSE and NSE, the companies which are listed in BSE, the same companies listed in NSE. So this is the big difference between the Indian stock market in US stock market. All right. Now coming to the indices. Okay, as I told you earlier, there are three major indices in US stock market. One is your S&P 500, one is your DJ or Dow Jones, or you can say Dow Jones Industrial Average, and one is your NASDAQ Composite or simply NASDAQ. Okay, so let's talk about S&P 500 first. So S&P 500, the index, this constitute of the 500 large cap companies from NYSE and NASDAQ stock exchange. Okay, and all these companies headquartered in USA, not outside USA. So, and the third point is, it is basically the index free. The index is a free float market capitalization weighted index. What it means is, the index, S&P 500 index, when it is calculated based on a market capitalization weighted index. It means companies are weighted proportion to their market capitalization. The company who has bigger market capitalization, it will give a bigger weight to that. Okay, so on 30th of July 2022, I just tried to calculate what is the S&P 500, and it was around 4,421. So I will see how it is. So basically, the S&P 500, the total. So how market capitalization is calculated is basically, for if you want to calculate of market capitalization of one stock, so you need to multiply the current market price with the outstanding stock floating to the or issued to the public. That is if you multiply these two, you will get the market capitalization. Now, if you sum of all the market capitalization of the 500 companies which are listed in S&P 500, then you will get the total market capitalization of S&P 500, which is 36.7 trillion US dollar on 30th of July 2022. Okay, so, and there is a divisor. So what is the divisor? The divisor is basically, it is fixed by the whole committee, and it's fixed. It is below 8.3 billion US dollar now. So if you divide these two, so the market capitalization S&P 500 divided by the divisor 8.3 billion, you will get 4,421.69, which is the S&P 500 index value. That was on, if you go and check in Google, you will see that 4,421, how it is calculated. So this is how it is calculated now. Now coming to your next index, which is Dow Jones Industrial Average, or you can simply say Dow Jones or DJ. All right, so this index is constitute of 30 large cap companies from NYSE and NASDAQ. There it was 500 large cap companies. Now it is 30 large cap companies, and all these companies headquartered in US only. And the index is price weighted index. There it was, S&P 500 was market cap index, weighted index. Now it is price weighted index. So here the companies are weighted proportion to their price, not to their market capitalization. All right. Now the next index is NASDAQ Composite. So NASDAQ Composite is basically referred to NASDAQ Stock Exchange. So all the stock which are listed in NASDAQ Stock Exchange, almost all the stock, which is more than 3,000 stock, that constitute your NASDAQ Composite or NASDAQ Index. Okay, and these companies the headquarter is may be or may not be in US. It means that all the stock in NASDAQ listed in NASDAQ Stock Exchange, almost all the stocks, more than 3,000 stocks, the headquarter is either in US or outside in India, can be composite in NASDAQ Composite. Okay, so, and the index is calculated based on the market capitalization weighted index. All right, so these are the three major index in US stock market, and these are the two exchanges in the US stock market. So when someone is talking about the US stock market, you will understand two things. One is your two major stock exchanges. One is New York Stock Exchange, another is NASDAQ Stock Exchange. You will understand three index. One is your NASDAQ Composite or NASDAQ. One is S&P 500. Another is your Dow Jones Industrial Average. Okay. I hope this video is informative for you guys, and you might have fair idea about what is all about US stock market. Thanks for watching this video.